Hello and welcome back to another episode of the CrossFit Harrow podcast. Today is episode 93 and we've got Alex joining us. Alex, thank you very much for taking time out and joining us. First question that goes out to everyone is, what brought you to CrossFit Harrow?
I saw a YouTube video actually. I didn't really know much about CrossFit. I obviously heard a lot about it on the internet, but then I saw a YouTube video of a guy who is blind, completely blind, doing CrossFit. He was doing an open and was doing the squats and then the bar.
It was burpees over bar,
yeah,
right?
That's it, yeah.
And that was the inspiration.
It was, yeah.
I remember when we first met and you came in that day and told me the story, and then you sent me the video. It is amazing to see that the effort and the way that the gentleman was able to just figure out where the barbell was, take that step back, and then jump over and then touch the barbell. So obviously you have a very similar story to that gentleman. We'd hopefully dive into a little bit more about that. Was sport always a big part of your growing up?
No, not at all actually. I was always kind of like the last person behind in the road runs, always finishing last, always trying to get out of PE. I've never really been all that good at it, but I think he always kind of wanted to be better at it. So, and I think seeing that guy kind of gave me the inspiration to.
Gave you that inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because you are actually. I mean, I think I told you this in the past. I think obviously a lot of the guys here see you train and they think they feel that you're an inspiration to them because of your limitations, let's say, that would other people would see it as a limitation, that where you just take advantage and actually, nothing stops you or nothing gets in the way from stopping you achieve something. So for those of you that are listening or watching, that Alex is also visually impaired, but it hasn't always been that way, right?
No, I lost my eyesight about 7-8 years ago now, when I was 18, just about to head off to university, and my eyesight started deteriorating over the course of about 3 months. So I've got no central vision. Pretty much everything's kind of blurry. You can kind of make out shapes and the outlines of people, and I've learned the kind of the orientation of the box over
knowing the routes that you take inside
yeah.
here. And obviously at 18, there's quite any age is traumatic, but quite a big stage of your life, right? Especially going off to uni.
Yeah, for sure. I think because it's a genetic disease which is pretty rare. It runs in the family, but a very small minority of people ever get affected. So the large majority of people who get my condition kind of don't realize that it's in the family until the first person loses their sight. So I think I'm the only person in my family, even though it's like a genetic disease passed on through like the maternal line. I'm the only person in the family who's ever had it. So yeah, it was like a real shock. I started university for about 2 weeks, and then it kind of kept getting worse and worse. So I had to drop out. Went into hospital, and because it's such a rare disease, they couldn't really diagnose it for about a month.
Oh, right.
So I was in the hospital for a while actually. Loads of blood tests, MRI scans, loads of different tests being undertaken.
Quite a traumatic stage, right?
100%, yeah.
And if you don't mind me asking, where you said that your eyesight deteriorated, was it a case of like waking up one day and just thinking, something's not right here, I've got a little bit of loss of vision?
I thought I needed like a change of prescription, or like I needed some strong glasses or something, because...
Were you wearing glasses before?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I was working at my dad's restaurant at the time. It was probably in like the summer of 2013. I was working at my dad's restaurant at the time, and I realized that I was struggling to like identify the coins in the till. And my dad was like thinking like, why was I struggling with that? And I was doing some work on the computer as well, and I was struggling to read the words on that. So that was like the first inkling that maybe I needed some new glasses or something like that. So yeah, that was kind of the start of it. It just kept getting worse and worse from there. So it started off like struggling to kind of see what coins I was holding and what words were on the screen, to like to now not being able to see like people, or only being able to see shapes and a few colours.
Your senses must be heightened, right? So
yeah,
like smell and touch. That's obviously how you would day to day be able to, you know, find out what's what and stuff.
Yeah, I think at the start when I first lost it, I thought it was a bit of a myth.
What are the different?
Yeah, a bit like your heightened hearing and smell, and then I realised that over the years I've been relying on them even more, like listening to people's voices and knowing who they are.
Yeah, of course.
And knowing what I'm eating by like smelling it rather than looking at it.
Yeah. So what so the uni didn't work out at that time.
Yeah.
So you went through those tests, and was it operations in there as well, or just tests?
No, just lots of tests, lots of waiting around, lots of hospital food.
But in between that, what was like day to day? Like, were you still getting on with your did you start work? Did you?
No. So whilst I was in hospital after that, I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And after they discharged me, I decided to drop out of university because it was like such a big adjustment, and I didn't know what to do really. So I just left university. I remember when I first went there, because it was like freshers and stuff. I went to speak to one of the disability team.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we can't really help you. We needed to know in advance that you were blind." And the first time they said blind, I remember just like bursting into tears because I'd never been called that before.
Wow.
So that was really tough. And then,
did you take that any further?
no, I think because I just left it really. And then just went, after that I dropped out anyway, so I never spoke to them again. And I took about a year off.
Okay.
Never went back to the university. And then I think it took me about a year to adjust anyway. But I knew that like I was always pretty ambitious. I always knew what I wanted to do, even in sixth form.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to kind of like
get in the way.
Yeah, I didn't want my eyesight to derail like a plan that I had in my head.
So what was that plan?
I've always wanted to be a journalist. I actually wanted to be a film and television journalist.
Okay.
Before I lost my eyesight. I used to watch a lot of films and television. But I was always good at technology as well.
Okay.
So like throughout university, I joined the newspaper because I started at a new university.
Right.
A year later, because I always wanted to go to university. But I joined the newspaper, edited my own section.
Was that for the university newspaper?
Yeah, university newspaper. And then after university, I was on loads of internships and in journalism. So I've worked at various different newspapers, magazines, and then.
Are these generalised, or are these like tech based?
They've all been tech roles.
Okay.
So I've always been a technology writer. So I've always kind of like tinkered with gadgets and interviewed people who are kind of doing cool stuff with tech. But yeah, I've had a full-time journalism job.
You said that at the beginning, actually, that you're usually on the other end of this podcast. You're usually the one asking the question.
Yeah.
So journalism been obviously something that you've always wanted to do. So what does a tech writer do? What would be your day to day?
My flat is essentially cluttered.
Full of new gadgets.
I've got lots of new stuff. And I think because tech is so nice, because you don't really have to use your eyes very much. It's a lot of like, it's quite tactile.
Okay.
And as any kind of visually impaired person would tell you, it's kind of, technology has become our lifeline essentially. Lorenzo, you've probably seen me using my phone.
Yeah, I was one of the things I wanted to bring up actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's never been easier to like do stuff in today's day and age than it would have been 20 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Probably impossible to do it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I remember when I first saw you using your phone, and there's a lot of software things on Apple or even Android, I'm sure, that we don't know about because we would never have to use that feature. But in your case, the phone talking back to you, telling you, it happened so fast I couldn't make out what it was saying. But give us a glimpse of what that looks like.
Yeah, so it's essentially, pretend the Siri voice is on your phone. It essentially reads everything which you tap on your finger. So you put your finger down on the phone and it will read what's ever underneath it.
Okay.
But I've got it set to like 100% speech read. So if you aren't visually impaired and don't use a screen reader, which is what they're called, on a daily basis, you're not going to be able to understand it. So you're basically skimming what you're reading.
Fine.
But when you skim, obviously other people can't understand.
Because
you're doing it so fast. Yeah.
So that screen reader, is that something just on the iPhone, or do you use that for your computer? Or?
Yeah. So it's on Macs as well.
So it's not a hardware, it's a software.
It's a software.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's on pretty much every computer now. All the companies are doing them, so you got
more accessible.
Windows.
Yeah. And pre-iPhone, those tasks were pretty hard for you.
I think pre-computers, because I think screen readers were made in like the late 90s, but pre-computers.
Were they on Windows 95, do you know?
Yeah,
They were, yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to boot up a computer and use one straight away.
Right.
You'd have to buy the software.
And add it on.
Yeah, and they used to be so expensive, like.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Over £1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't actually have that. I had to a few £100s in my
yeah.
Wow. That which is in some way not fair, because it shouldn't be, if you're in that position and that's something that you need, it shouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah.
So it's not accessible to everyone.
It's insane, because some of these pieces of technology, like there's these glasses now, I think because everything's advanced so much now with AI, there's these glasses now where you point at things and it will start reading out to you.
Oh, wow.
That is like £3,000 for just that.
Wow. Do you get any of these gadgets through with what you
I think,
write about?
Luckily, but like my mates wouldn't, for example. So I always like let them try it out. But sometimes I get them to review, which is nice.
And in the tech world, do you know much about the NFT stuff and the metaverse?
Yeah.
Oh, you do, yeah.
I think I don't really write about them much, but I think just being interested in tech, I just have an interest myself in that kind of area.
So an NFT is a non-fungible token, right? Mm-hmm. And basically, it's like animated something, animated art, animated whatever it might be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be animated. Some of them are just JPEGs, which sit on the blockchain essentially.
Right, this is we've got to go through a whole lesson. Hold on, right. So this is all to do with like cryptocurrency and all that stuff. Yeah. Right, so a blockchain is what?
It's kind of like a public ledger where people can publicly see what transactions are being made.
But it's all encrypted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, technically, yeah. But anyone can kind of access it and see what's being sent where, but you don't know who the person is.
Okay, right. So that JPEG or animated thing is then sent through, the transaction to purchase is sent through a blockchain. Yeah. But what does the NFT stand for? What is it? Is it just creativity? Is it?
I think how I explain it is, think of like an art collector.
Yeah.
But doing that digitally. So you're buying pieces of art which you don't physically own, but is stored on the blockchain.
Well, there's a big thing about this actually that I've been reading recently, that the Bitcoin and NFT space is a bit of a money laundering opportunity for those who have money that. So they say that often though about art though, right? Because art's is subjective. A piece of art is subjective on how much it's worth. And if you need to get rid of some money or pay someone something, then that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah, I've definitely heard that as well.
I read that. I can't remember where I read it, but it's come out. So anyone can create one of these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, but not everyone's going to make money from it.
But what I can't get my head around is you create this thing in the hope that someone buys it.
Yeah.
For a greater value to what it costs you to make.
Yeah, and a lot of people just like, they don't take very long to make these things and just hope they get lucky.
Well, I think you can make them on Canva, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You can make some of them on Canva. But I actually, because I've started, I'm not into them, but just, I do know a couple of people that are, and they've tried to explain and stuff. So I've been reading a little bit about it. And I think it's that Logan Paul. I think someone had offered him like $500,000 for a particular NFT.
Right. Yeah.
Now, is that transaction actual real money, or is that transaction not real currency? Is it Bitcoin?
It would have been real money initially, because they would have had to spend their money to buy that Bitcoin, for example, if it was Bitcoin.
But then if you only trade in Bitcoin, because so I guess what I'm trying to get at is that you can't actually extract that money, right? Or you can?
I think, you can.
You can?
You can, yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
But I don't get why someone would want to do that.
I think a lot of people are using it as like a investment thing rather than something that they want to take their money out of.
Well, it would make sense that if the world moved over to that side of things, because obviously with the development and the advance of tech, it would make sense because obviously also a lot of places are refusing to accept cash, and it would only just be debit or credit cards.
Yeah.
But some places are accepting Bitcoin because obviously they want to increase their gain on that. Funny world though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it something that you involved in? Do you know, like, have you got things in there and stuff?
Yeah, I've invested in crypto.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think just, you want to be on top of things, isn't it?
do you, so what would you say, would you say if someone doesn't understand it fully, don't do it?
It depends if you're like a
risk taker.
Yeah, because you never know. It's so volatile, like cryptocurrency in general. There's like if you want to take a risk or whatever, just have a.
But has it been identified who created Bitcoin?
No, still not. No, I don't
why,
think it ever will be.
Why is this such a big secret?
I don't know. I'm not sure why he doesn't want to reveal himself.
Is this to create like urgency or demand for the currency? Possibly.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's as far as I know, it's well known that it won't be revealed. Very interesting. Well, we are going to move over to because even Facebook has obviously moved over. Yeah. We're moving over to the metaverse, which
the
is
rename of.
Company, yeah. Completely going from Facebook to Meta would say that Facebook have probably been planning this for a long time. There's things to say that Apple have as well. There's a lot of Yeah,
there's talk about like them bringing out an AR, VR kind of glasses type thing.
And the Bitmojis that were created, I think 3-4 years ago. Apple have tried to be in that space for quite a while because your Bitmoji or whatever it's called, if you turn your head, it will also turn.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, probably one of my favourite shows.
Really? So the second episode with the points where he's on the bike.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favourite episodes.
So do you think that the world will develop into that? Do you think there's going to be a space for that?
Hope not, to be fair.
It's quite scary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are saying at the moment, with all the things that are going on about social credit score and all that stuff.
In China and things like that.
Yeah, about getting a score based on your health, and then that will give you certain privilege and stuff. For those of you that haven't watched Black Mirror, I would encourage you to heavily watch it. I think my favourite episode is the second series. The first one where he goes back in time, the drunk guy.
Oh yeah,
that's a very good episode. Yeah. And then in terms of like traveling and stuff, or being abroad, have you spent much time abroad? You said you Singapore, right?
Malaysia. Yeah, my parents are in Malaysia. But yeah, I think that I haven't done much traveling on my own since losing my eyesight. But I do. Yeah, I've been back to Malaysia about twice since losing my eyesight. But I haven't done much travelling outside of the UK since then.
Do you plan to, when things open up a little bit more, do you plan to go take some time off work?
Yeah, I think.
Could you do your job from anywhere? Yeah. Would they let you?
Pretty much. I'm not sure if they would.
Is there any like particular places that you would like to indulge in the culture?
I've always kind of liked the Scandinavian region. I do like the cold.
Do
That's
you?
why I'm always wearing shorts.
Well, that was the thing I said to you this morning when you came in. It's freezing outside and you're in shorts.
I do like the cold.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So somewhere over that region is where I'd like to go. If there was no limits in terms of where and how long, what would be the best location for you?
Probably Iceland.
Yeah, it's nice there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just quite like a magical place to visit, and it's such a small country.
But you've not been before.
I've been once.
You've been once. Did you go to the Blue Lagoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good.
Yeah.
That's really
Have
good.
you been?
Yeah. Blue Lagoon was one of my favourite
Yeah.
experiences. Just the water and like the sunlight.
Yeah.
And the night and stuff. It was pretty good. Okay, so with regards to fitness, Alex, obviously, we worked together for a period of time, and obviously Sophie's been helping out too. Originally, I think one of your goals was to the video that you saw of the gentleman doing the burpees over bar was also to do that.
Yeah.
So we started slowly developing from up downs into burpees and now we're actually with Sophie been trying the burpees over bar, and that's worked out all right for you.
Yeah, it was a little bit scary, but
was it? Yeah.
In terms of like finding, I think because you've always got it in the back of your head that you're gonna like trip over the bar. Because I think in the video the guy was actually like measuring how high the bar was each time he'd done.
Yeah. So from what I remember, he after every, so he stood up and he would step towards the bar.
Yeah.
Touch it with his hands and feel the height, and then do the jump, and then touch on the other side, touch again. So that's your biggest concern of that, right? But that was a goal that you set at the beginning, and now you've got there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That was very good. And how have you felt over the last few months training wise as things improve for you?
Oh yeah, massively. I remember my first session, like couldn't even finish it. And I remember apologising to you because I couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Well, you've come a long way from starting. It's amazing to see the progress. And do you feel yourself that there's any limitations for you when training?
I think the thing that's always kind of like put me off of starting something new, even at the gym, I've always been kind of put off because trying to find stuff, finding the weights, knowing how heavy they are, knowing where the bars are and stuff, that's always been like a challenge for me. So I've always been kind of nervous about that, trying to figure out, how I'm gonna get around the gym.
Yeah, I can imagine that'd be quite a daunting experience for you.
Yeah, that's always been kind of like a concern for me. But
and do you find that people, when you have been to the gym in the past, have you found that people have been helpful towards you or not considerate?
No, not really. Because I think people like to do their own thing, and I think the thing with a lot of people is that they don't want to
ask or
they don't want to talk to you if they don't want to assume anything.
Yeah,
which is fair enough, but
you're not going to bite their head off.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then I think the goal for you too recently now is also to start in developing into the group classes, and that's something that you want to achieve. Yeah,
I love that, to be fair, because I always kind of like the community aspect of CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you can motivate each other.
Yeah.
And that's always been like a nice thing for me to see, especially.
Yeah. Especially being more confident with knowing where things are in the gym, being around. It would also be, as I said before at the beginning, that people find you as an inspiration to them. It will be amazing to see you in a group class with others around you and you doing, the exact same thing and going through the same pain and suffering that they're going through.
Yeah.
What have you found with regards to like the nutrition element of side? Because I'm sure people are going to want to know, how you manage that. How do you day to day do that?
Yeah, I think you already know this.
Yeah, I do.
I'd love to get better at like doing that, because I think cooking is my worst kind of aspect of fitness, because I can't see what I'm cooking and how well done things are, or frying's always kind of like being a scary thing for me, because I don't know if it's going to splatter into my face or whatever, the oil.
Yeah.
So I use an air fryer most of the time.
Okay.
Do a lot of cooking in that. Do a lot of cooking in the oven. But I try and avoid the hob, which is kind of where you can make the healthiest
meals.
Yeah.
And do you live alone?
I do. Yeah. I moved out into my own place. When was it now? Back in March.
Which is why cooking's probably one of the harder things.
My parents used to do a lot of cooking for me. But
Did
now,
they?
Yeah.
So what's your go-to? Like, obviously with the air fryer, what's your go-to meal?
I think the hardest thing is that now, like, I've been a vegetarian for about a year now.
And is this because of the cooking element?
No, it was actually a lot easier cooking like meat things in the air fryer.
Right.
I used to cook a lot more kind of chicken-based dishes in the air fryer, but since I've become a vegetarian, like, it's become harder to cook things because there's a lot less things you can put together with veggie food in the air fryer.
And was going veggie just a personal choice? You wanted to try something different?
Yeah, I think just based on like environmental decision.
Oh yeah.
Rather than health-wise. I think I would, because I rely a lot on frozen food. It wouldn't be for health reasons anyway. Yeah.
And what about the elements of like food shopping and stuff? How I'm sure people would like to listen and hear like how you experience that.
I get a lot of help from my sister, who just lives close by.
Okay.
So we go shopping together, because otherwise, going into a supermarket, for example, I wouldn't be able to like find anything, because obviously before you would just like look up at the signs above the aisle to know what was in where.
Of course.
Now I just kind of rely on my sister a lot. I think I lost a lot of my independence when I lost my eyesight, and now I rely a lot on other people for help, which is a lot of adjustment to do, because I took a lot of pride in my own
was a very independent person.
Yeah, I like doing my own thing, and then obviously having to adjust that and rely on other people to help you instead was a big adjustment. So I don't really like asking for help anyway.
Really, even now, is that something you still?
It's gotten something that I'm better at it, but I still don't like doing it.
Yeah.
Like if I can, I prefer to like struggle for about 10 minutes trying to work out what something says than ask somebody what it says.
Yeah, well, I suppose if someone, there's an element there though that like if someone tells you, then you're not really going to learn from it too. So I can see that, and obviously you're working from home at the moment. Much preferred working from home.
Much preferred, yeah.
Yeah. Is your preference gonna be staying at home? Would you miss the social element of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I really like working from home because I don't have to wake up really early, because we start work.
Meeting starts at 9 and Alex is up at 8:57.
Yeah, I mean, we start work at 8, so we started working back in the office twice a week, back in October, November time.
Okay.
And I hated it because I'd have to get up at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Leave the house at about 6:45, so I can get in the office for 8. Because the office is in Kensington.
Okay.
So yeah, much appreciate working from home a lot more than waking up.
Well, I suppose there's the argument about being more productive from home as well and stuff. A question that just came to mind is: have you ever experienced any form of discrimination with regards to applying for jobs or finding your feet that way?
I know a lot of people have, but I think because of the industry that I'm in, it's quite forward-facing one. So
Okay.
there's a lot of kind of opportunities in that sector. I feel like
Would you pre-applying to a job have to would you disclose?
you wouldn't have to.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't have to, but
I think at the start I was, and I like at the start of my career I was writing a lot about disability and kind of like my eyesight in general. So I got quite a few pieces online about that, and I just assumed that employers would go back and look at your writing, and
but they don't.
Yeah, they kind of know. And I started this new job from home, which was the first time I'd ever started a job from home. And I think a lot of people have done that, but I think for me it was a bit different because my colleagues didn't know how much I could or couldn't see.
Yeah.
They didn't realise how bad it was, really. So I think learning to do things from home was a bit of a challenge because I think a lot of them assume that I could see a lot more than I can.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to exaggerate what I can and can't see, so
Yeah.
I don't really mention it too much. I just like to get on with it, and I think that was quite hard starting a job remotely because you'd have to figure it out yourself, and they'd all assume that you can see more than you can.
Yeah, I suppose people don't want to ask as well
Yeah.
because they don't know, they haven't met you, and they might not want to feel like they're intruding in, or maybe asking something that they feel uncomfortable with. Or it's an uncomfortable conversation, right, for someone that,
For sure,
that doesn't know
Yeah.
or has never met. With regards to the tech side, what's been your favourite piece of tech that you've reviewed or had in your hands?
I get to review a lot of like the new iPhones and things like that.
Do you get them pre-released before others?
Yeah, I got the new Nintendo Switch to review as well, and that was quite interesting because I used to game quite a lot as well.
Okay.
But obviously things have come a long way in that sector too. So it's easier to game even though you can't see what you're doing really. So that was probably one of my favourite things to get.
And what would that look like? The gaming side of things, would that be through audio?
I think most of the time, because I've still got peripheral vision, I can get quite close to the screen.
Okay.
And kind of make out what I'm doing. But there's gamers online. So the guy I mentioned right at the start of the conversation, the guy who was doing the burpees over the bar.
Yeah.
He is actually a gaming YouTuber.
And is that how you found him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through that first, and then realised he was also doing CrossFit. So I didn't know he was doing CrossFit until afterwards, because I was watching one of his videos on he was trying to complete The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, completely blind, and he managed to do it.
As I say, did he do it?
Yeah,
and
he
that
did,
must be quite a big statement, right? That must be
Yeah.
quite a big thing.
It took him years, I think.
Really?
Yeah, but he did it still. He basically, what a lot of fully blind people do is they listen to the sound design.
Okay.
So kind of your character bumping into the walls as like an indicator of where you are.
Okay.
And like basically all the little sound effects which go into making a game, they all listen to that.
Amazing. And Alex, have you got any fitness or personal plans, goals, the next things that you want to achieve over the next few months, or are you just cruising and enjoying life?
I think I want to kind of improve my nutrition a lot. Get brave enough to kind of attack the hob. And work on that, and obviously join the classes, because that would be.
They're the
nice.
two main things. Are you giving yourself a time frame for them?
No, I'm not.
Just when it feels right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean maybe probably nutrition first, and then see where things go. But I think I've made a lot of progress since joining.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just kind of. I've already kind of mapped my way around the gym already, which has been good. Sophie's been helping me work out where things are in the gym.
I actually noticed that today when I saw you walk over to the dumbbell racks, and I was like, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, telling me to like where things start and end, and how the increments of the weights, and that the bar I should get is the thinnest one.
Yeah.
rather than using your eyes to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's all been good, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the rope stuff.
Yeah, we've got some. I think we've got some videos and recorded some.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, some of that stuff, which I'm sure we'll put out on social media front soon. I've actually, when we were doing some bits together, I've got some. When I'd said that I was going to record you doing those burpees and stuff, and I've got those all to show people. Alex, we've run out of time today. Thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing to hear your story. And the next time some of the guys will see you will either be obviously in here with either myself or Sophie, or in the group classes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Lorenzo.
See you next week, guys.